Can you hear us, Abe?
Can't hear you. Oh, there we go. Now I can hear
There
you
we
guys.
are. There we. How you doing, my man? How you doing tonight?
Oh man, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Real good, man. First of all, we appreciate your time. We know you're an extremely busy guy. A lot of stuff going on. Always, you know, some things take long. Some things only take 5 seconds, but we'll get to that, right?
I like the shirt. I like the shirt. I like the shirt.
Oh,
You definitely got it.
we're all in.
That's not an authorized 3-piece and a soda shirt right there, my friend. I can't like that shirt. That's the proceeds of that are not going to Jorge, so I cannot like that.
We got to get it to Jorge.
I just want to say personally, thank you for my shirt, though. I love it. It's super
Anytime.
comfortable, too. I don't know where you get this fabric from, but it's killer.
Amazing, right?
Right?
It is. First of all, real quick, Abe, great night. A couple nights ago, UFC San Antonio. Greg Hardy notched another one in the book. Superstar in the making for a long time. His stock is only rising. And a great night, too, for Andrei Arlovski, a legend in the sport. Definitely talk to us about them, too, and more. UFC San Antonio.
So, Greg, I think if the heavyweight division wasn't put on notice, it is now. I definitely think Greg went out there, did what he was supposed to do. He really took this fight to heart, acted like a true professional. He didn't do any extra, BS or any of that stuff, even though this guy went at him hard. And, we all saw the way he acted after the fact. So I'm proud of Greg. It's not normal. It's not the norm to have a guy like him where that's an extreme professional, but it's refreshing. And I'll be honest with you, it was really cool. So I'm proud of him. I don't know what's next for him yet. He told me right afterwards he wants to get back in there ASAP. So I'm working with the UFC to get him back in as quickly as possible. Hopefully, probably, I'm gunning for someone in the top 15 at this point. I think
Okay.
I think he's a guy that his athleticism and his style is so. Good luck taking that guy down. I want to see somebody take him down. And then what are you going to do? Stand and bang in front of him? Okay, I'm interested in seeing how that goes.
He has all the makings of a UFC heavyweight champion.
100%. I think he's the most athletic guy in the division. I would say in terms of just athleticism alone, DC's probably there. We can't take DC out, but definitely there. And after that, I would say probably Greg is either. But you know what? Let me stop myself there. Greg played professional football at the highest level.
I say that all the time. He's an elite athlete. He was one of the best defensive ends, period, end that was playing at that time. He led the league in sacks. I mean, he's a supreme athlete. It's like once he learns how to fight, that's a dangerous human being.
Which I think he's there. I think he's there. I think he's at the point now where, learning how to fight for him, it's just rounds and he needs time. And the problem is that his longest fight was Alan Crowder. And then everybody else is just their first round and, they ball up and they're done. And we saw a big guy. Dude, Juan Adams is no joke. You guys can sit here and say he's a can and all that. I'm telling you, before the fight, everybody online, man, why would you guys take this fight? This guy is a huge step up for Greg. He's going to get killed. The guy is just as big as Greg, just as heavy as Greg. You go down the whole list here and you're like, man, okay, so this is going to be a huge step for him. And he beats the guy in a minute. I mean,
Insane.
It's scary.
Insane.
It's scary.
You mentioned first round management, super agent Abe Kawa here on the line. So many fighters. We can talk about UL and Showtime, Pettis, UFC 241. Before we get to there, I kind of just want to retrack real quick. UFC 239. We just, we talk about it. It's 5 seconds and 400 hours of media time. It's amazing how much just 5 seconds have done. How is Jorge? How have you been? How has the first round management family been since that? Maybe the biggest moment in UFC history.
Well, I think he definitely, big fighters show up for big fights, man. That's really the way it goes. And I said this to him many moons ago when I first met him. And I said, dude, if you apply yourself, you're probably one of the best welterweights in the world. You just gotta, you've got to actually show up when it comes time to fight. And that's kind of crazy for a guy who shows up backyards and all that, But what I meant by that is actually being a mixed martial artist and just really using every bit of your skills to win, and not just fight. Because what's crazy is he loves to fight. So, win or lose, he loves to fight. He loves everything about it. And sometimes that you could kind of get stuck in that mode where you're there to fight. I'm there to fight. I'm there to fight. I'm there to fight. Maybe not necessarily to win, but I'm just there to fight. So, that kind of sucks. When you're that good, you should be winning, and you should be winning in the fashion that he's winning in. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I sort of dropped a tear after that thing, because he's forever in the record books at this point. I don't think anybody's gonna beat that record, and he's forever tied to it. We're tied to it. The insane media coverage that he's gotten, since then. I've gotten everybody, major sponsors, major media outlets. Everybody wants a piece of him. And what's cool about him is that he's still the same Georgie that I had, when I first met back then. He's the same guy, man. He hasn't changed.
Cool. Yeah, he seems just like that's another day in the office for him, like you said. You know what I mean? That was dope. That was the coolest thing.
Punch in and punch out. That was his thing, and that he's capitalized.
That post-fight interview. Mwah. Oh my God.
Listen, his personality is one that is like that. That's exactly who he is. He's not hiding it. He's not faking it. He's not doing it for the cameras. You could catch him any point in time. You hold an interview with the guy, and he's going to give you gold every single time. He's going to give you gold, and not trying to. It's just who he is, and then he resonates with so many fans and so many people that we can all see ourselves throwing that knee and knocking Ben Askren out. I think we all can do that. I think we all did that.
Absolutely. On the same night, Jorge Masvidal on the same night, main event, Jon Jones Bones, the greatest UFC
14
fighter in the history of the game. Can you talk about Jon? How is he doing? How's he feeling? It was a long 25-minute round fight. How's Jon doing?
It's crazy. People are telling me, oh man, we're seeing a kink in the armor and all this stuff. And I was like, man, maybe my eyes, just because I've been around the fight game so long and around these guys and underdo and doing those kind of things. After the fight, I told Jon, I said, Jon, did you not want to take him down? He told me no. So I don't want to take him down. I said, why? He goes, I want to be in his world. I want to show him who's better in this world. And that's scary, man. That is scary, because can you imagine if Jon actually decided to wrestle him and take him down and ground and pound him out and do that? You know what I mean? Like it's nuts to me. It really is nuts to me. So he was in a 25-minute war, but he wanted to be in that war. That's insane, man. That is insane good.
It's amazing, right?
He's the greatest.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
We've talked about this before. I just say there's a simple formula for Jon Jones. He shows up, he fights you, he hurts you, he wins. I don't care how he hurts you, and he wins.
He's going to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's the man. He is the man. He is the greatest. He is the greatest fighter. We all are blessed to be able to watch him do what he does, because what he's doing, no one's going to repeat this run. That's his 14th title fight. People aren't talking about it. That's his 14th title fight that he's been able to do in this sport. It's unheard of. There's no one. There's no one.
I hear it all the time. Most of the fights it's a 50-50 coin toss. Two men walk into an octagon cage. It's not a 5-on-5 game. It's not a basketball game. It's not a football game. You guys know well down there, first round management. Not 11-on-11. It's 1-on-1. Against Jon Jones has fought the greatest light heavyweights for the last 8 years. It's amazing.
Wait. Time out. Apparently, he fought the greatest heavyweight also of our time and beat him. So I don't know, man. Every time I hear those things, I'm just like, wait a second. We're not doing this the right way. He's the greatest combat athlete we have. Period.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks right there. Abe Kawa again with heavyweight. Talking about big bucks, one thing I really want to talk about, we're here at the Island Fights home office, and it's amazing to me. Island Fights has had 7 shows on UFC Fight Pass. They've had 6-7 fighters on Dana White Contender Series. They've had them on UFC, straight to UFC. A lot of FRM clients. Christian Lawson's fighting tomorrow night.
Coming up, yeah.
Hannah Goldstein, things are happening there. So many, Mike Beast Boy Davis and so many. Why do you choose Titan FC and Island Fights to, give them a platform for those fighters that are so close to the UFC? Can you talk to me about Titan FC and Island Fights?
So I could say this. My relationship with Island Fights and you said Island Fights and who's the other one? And Titan. My relationship with Titan and Island Fights, we go way back. And I think in this business, people don't understand. You have to have relationships with guys, and you got to be able to be good on your word just the same way as they're good on theirs. And those two organizations have never, ever went back on their word to me when they told me I'm going to have a guy on the card. The guy's on the card. When they said, hey, I'm going to do this, this is what happens. And I like doing business that way because that's the way I am. When I tell you I'm going to do something, it gets done, you know? So that's the very first thing. You know, the second thing is they're both on Fight Pass. So it makes it easy if your goal as a fighter is to get to the UFC and you want to get recognized and shown, it helps that you go on these platforms that are connected, you know? Some guys don't want to, and that's okay. You don't have to. But what you are going to get is a good quality fight. You are going to get seen, and then you're going to get retweeted and put on Instagram, and you're going to get all that media attention that you're looking for. Maybe not the big media attention on ESPN and whatnot, but you're going to get media attention from the UFC. The matchmakers will know who you are. They're constantly scouting these promotions. So if they're constantly scouting these promotions and your goal is to be in the UFC, then you want to be on those promotions. It's really simple. You know, that's the way I look at it. I'm from Miami. I'm on the East Coast. Titan is in my backyard. Pensacola is only a few hours away from me, so it's easy. It really is easy.
Especially easy when flying in to Pensacola. How about the event just a month ago? Dean Tool Promotions had a great event for a charity, and it was amazing to see so many high-level fighters. Yoel Romero, Showtime Anthony Pettis, Mazadov, to give back to the community. I was there with them all week in Pensacola, weigh-ins and the show. They were so gracious to so many people behind the scenes that no one, sees. So were, you and your brother were the same way. It's just unbelievable to see, people that are so successful in their career, but, when it comes down to it, they're just great men, great people. It's just, I just want to give you guys a compliment. I thought it was a great night.
Oh, thank you.
FRM, Dean Tool.
Amazing. It was to me, it was one of the best nights ever. I think Anthony and Jorge stole the show with their grappling event. And, after the fact, you talked to both of them, and both of them said the same thing about each other. They're two animals, they're two beasts that, they didn't want to lose. I'll tell you that much. Neither one of them wanted to lose. They didn't go in there to lose. I was just happy that, it was a good show. It was a good showing. Obviously, I didn't want them to get hurt, and none of them got hurt. So I was like, oh, thank God. That was my biggest fear going into it. They all had big fights. Obviously, Georgie had the Askren fight. Pettis has the Nate fight, and Yoel has the Costa fight. And they all have huge implications. You know what I mean? So I just was more worried about that, and the way everybody took care of them and whatnot. It was fantastic. It was pretty good, pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Yoel Costa fight. That's
me too.
Been waiting to happen. It's been burning. It's been like I want to say it's like Inception. The seed was planted such a long time ago, and now it's coming to fruition in my mind, and it's going to happen. I'm really excited for that fight.
Well, I don't think we hear much from Costa anymore. I don't think he's out there chirping much anymore. As the time has gotten closer, Costa has gone, almost MIA.
Big fight on that card, I think. And I don't know about you, Anthony Showtime Pettis.
That's the biggest fight on that card. That's the biggest fight on that card by far. I think if you buy that pay-per-view, you're buying Nate Diaz versus Anthony Pettis, and Nate Diaz could have headlined that pay-per-view by themselves, and it still would do massive numbers. The fact that you're getting, Stipe and DC, and you're getting Yoel and Costa, that's all gravy. That's all gravy.
They can headline any card in combat sports, in any arena, anytime.
And it's going to do good.
And you said it. What do you think when Pettis, when he gets the W, what's next for Showtime Pettis?
Man, I think Anthony's at the point of his career where he's just looking for big fights. He wants the biggest fights. He wants to be – he's done it all, man. He's already been a champion. He's defended. He's in a position where he can honestly fight whoever he wants. I think a realistic fight for Anthony after that is probably going to be Conor, just because if he beats Nate, and let's say he knocks out Nate, and he does it in an exciting fashion, is that not the fight that we want to see? Like, I mean, you tell me, am I crazy for thinking that? Because
I was going to say the same thing. I go, in my head, you start knocking off fighters. Guys, it's Mazadov, Usman. I don't want to have breaking news here. The fight has to happen. Dana White is a smart man. It's the fight. It's going to happen. Mazadov's the hottest name in mixed martial arts. He's the rightful #1 contender. That fight's locked in, all right? That's done. Okay, next, Showtime Pettis. Give me another huge name, a Hall of Fame level name, hotter than hell. Pettis McGregor. That's gold.
Sold.
Yeah.
Sold. I mean, I take my money now is what I like to say. $70, no problem.
Yep.
You can have it. You know what I mean? I'll watch that fight. I think everybody would watch that fight.
Soccer stadium in Dublin.
Oh, Anthony would love that.
Right.
He would love that. He would love that.
Soccer stadium in Dublin or Madison Square Garden. We'll see. We'll see.
MSG works too. Anthony would love that one too. I know Connor loves New York, so why not? You know.
Hey, we appreciate your time so much. Every time,
Thank
Fight
you.
Bananas. We appreciate you. Anything else if you want to get off? Any social media, anyone you want to shout out? The floor is yours. If not, like I said, we really do appreciate your time.
Man, just want to say I got a lot of good fighters coming up, a lot of good fights coming up. Tune in, root for my guys. Really, that's all I want to say. Root for my guys. Show your support. Even if you don't root for my guys, thank you. I appreciate that. Even if you don't root for my guys, root for the sport. Root for the fans. You know, these guys go in and do something none of us do. You know, like I don't get punched in the face for a living. Neither do you guys. We should all just show whoever it is that goes in that cage a little bit of respect. Even if they act like assholes, it's okay. You know, Juan Adams doing what he did, but he still got in there with a beast like Greg Hardy. You know, maybe wearing a romper wasn't the right thing to do prior to the fight, but I think we still have to give the man respect for going in there and fighting. So any one of these guys that go in, you know, Andre and Ben put on a show for everybody that night. I represent both guys, and I sat there. I was happy for Andre. I was sad for Ben. But really, when you look at it from a sport perspective and you say to yourself, I'm here to watch a sporting event, you know, we all cheer when the Rams and the Chiefs put up a huge scoring, you know, output or whatnot. And as fans, we all do that. When these guys go out there and put it all on the line, we should cheer. No matter who wins, who loses, we should absolutely cheer. So even if it's not my guys, I just say cheer for whoever it is that you're cheering for and show respect for the other guy. That's really it.
Yeah, well said. Well said, Abe. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Have a great night. FRM
Thank you,
night
guys.
for sure.
All day. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.